Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday Recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games. When it comes to EVE Online, it's actually been a good week in EVE Online. I would say that some people will be happy because in the last couple of weeks I've been playing a lot less than average EVE Online, but this week I managed to do, I think, even a little bit more than average because I did spend a decent amount of time in EVE. Now, did I play the new event from the agency? Nope, completely skipped that one. Number one, of course, all the feedback that I kept seeing on Reddit and on the forums was really bad about accessibility, and my plan was actually to have a Proteus with a data analyzer and to try to do the data hacking part rather than go for that full combat, or which I think will have had a lot of competition, or the mining stuff, which, well, not sure if I want to bring an Orca in there and then risk the same thing I saw Marquis Dragon have happen. So yeah, overall what I did was I went out to explore, of course, with all those people competing in the sites from the event. There was a lot more room for people to explore for a good combat site and try to get their loot that way. Now, I must also say that I think it was yesterday I saw a thread on Reddit that said that the accessibility was a lot better. But at the same time, a viewer gifted me the one skin that I really wanted, which was the Ishtar skin from the event. So very little reason for me to dive into that one, and at the moment I'm just focusing on what I enjoy most in EVE Online, which is of course exploration. So I did a good amount of that. And I came across the Deathly Vigil trap. That was something pretty damn crazy. In fact, I saw it twice in two systems right next to each other. So I'm not sure if someone is like setting that up on purpose, or if there's something else that's happening there. But basically, I get into the Vigil. The first room is completely cleared, but I'm seeing, well, there's one other person in local, and I don't think he's an explorer. So I go through that gate, and then you enter the second room, and everything is clustered around the warping point. Now, in the first one that I did, there was still the stasis web tower, so I quickly destroyed that one. But then you're in real trouble because, of course, the web drones come with the true Sansha, and if you get all of that DPS, it's a hell of a lot of DPS. So I was forced to warp out in my Ishtar, and I got out in like 50% structure or something like that. So very close to losing my Ishtar in a Sansha Vigil, but because another player somehow set it up to become this deadly trap, I think Alpha clones would be in real trouble if they got into that second room, because it's a lot of DPS that attacks you all of a sudden. But it was quite fun. And then in the system next door, I saw another Vigil with the exact same setup, so I was like, no, I'm gonna continue on my own road, try to find some better sites to do. Next to that, I also did a couple of dives in the Abyss, trying to get back into that type of content. It's been many months, and I must say I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that there are now many more loot containers potentially in all of these rooms, in the 3 rooms from the Abyss. So that feels a lot more rewarding already. And the way they've done it, I think, is very interesting. So you basically have some extra loot containers that can be attached to some of the asteroids within the site, and so they're actually quite far away from each other. And so rather than just going for Gila, max tank, max DPS, coast towards the loot container, and then, you know, you find yourself right next to the gate anyways, yeah, this time you have to keep in mind that you also want some speed. So probably a micro orb drive. I came into some cap problems when it comes to that, so yeah, I need to work on my Gila or my Abyss ship. It might also be something else, and the idea here is that you don't only have to focus on tank and on damage, but now you also need to keep in mind that you need some speed if you want to grab all the potential loot that the Abyss drops. I thought that was very interesting. It definitely felt more rewarding just doing a couple of tier 1s and seeing everything that could drop from a single site was quite interesting in my opinion, and so it's perhaps something that I'll work towards as well, try to get a good fitting so that we can do both the content, take out all the rats and all the damage challenges there, but also have an efficient ship to go from all the different loot containers, grab everything, and then try to finish the site in as good a time as possible. Another thing that I want to explore, but that's gonna be for next year at the earliest, is going to be the co-op Abyss, but for that, I don't know, I need to basically arrange everything with my brother and maybe find a third pilot as well. We will see how all of that develops, of course. Next up we have the World of Warcraft, and well, it's a pretty tough time at the moment for Blizzard if you read up on some of the news articles and things that are happening there, but I'm still playing some World of Warcraft. I come online every single day. I at least do the emissary. From time to time I do the invasions as well, but at the moment I must say it all feels very unrewarding. I kept up with the conquest points in the months after the launch of the Battle for Azeroth expansion, which means that I have mostly 370 gear in my slots, except for the rings. That's something that's very tricky to find, and as a result now all of these rewards are not very useful to me. I have the Azerite pieces that I want, and well, until in January there should be an update of the loots and of the rewards with is it like the heroic raid or something like that that comes out, but until then there's like really very little reason to put a lot of energy into the World of Warcraft. So I'm doing the emissaries, and yesterday something that I did as well was that I did the new Warfront Battle for Darkshore. It's pretty interesting. I made a video about it and you'll get that I think somewhere next week. I'm not exactly sure when that will come out. It's a little bit improved from the other Warfront. You now basically have quests in your base as well, so that you at least come into contact with all the different buildings and know what they'll do. And there's also a bit of like a wind up until you actually get towards the base. And overall I felt like this one was a bit smoother. You had to focus less, I think, on gathering resources, and it felt more like you could really be an army of the Horde and push through Darkshore, and you're not so dependent on the siege weapons and things like that. You could basically do it yourself if that's the way your group wants to do it. So yeah, that Battle for Darkshore, a little bit of an improvement I would say on the previous Warfront, but it is basically the exact same thing. Of course, 20 people together grind out the PvE content of that Warfront, and then 340 rewards. There's absolutely again no reason for me to keep chaining those or to do a lot of them. Now once a week when they unlock, you do get a chest with potentially a 385 reward, so that's basically all I'm going to do for the Warfronts, is to do that one reward quest when you do the very first one after it unlocks. But other than that, as I've said, very little reason to play a lot of World of Warcraft at the moment for me. Which brings me to our third game last week, and it's a little bit more Path of Exile. Now, it's not a lot more Path of Exile. As you guys know, 2 weeks ago I had a week off from work. There I did a guided hero path, and I followed the guide very closely, trying to get to the 10 acts and seeing if I can finally, get towards that end game content. Not with the idea of I'm gonna then do it and I'm gonna smash records or anything like that, but just to have the experience of, I know what that first part, that run-up part, that leveling up part of Path of Exile, what that's all about. And now that I've done that, yeah, I've been playing with the idea of trying another character, and so I started that one in the regular league, not solo self-found this time. In previous one with the guided hero path, it was in solo self-found, because I wanted to be able to defeat those 10 acts all by myself without purchasing items or anything like that. And so I started a new one. This one is based around the brands. I'm not following a guide. I'm trying to see if I can replicate that success with a character that uses brands. Of course, it's a very closely related build, because the totem nodes also give you bonuses to the brand, and so it's a little bit different from the totem build, but it's definitely strongly inspired by it. And yeah, this time we'll see what I want to do with it. It's more of an experiment. I'm definitely not going to make a video on every act or anything like that. I'm just here to have fun and to see now, with the experience that I've had previously with the other character in the league, can I get myself through the 10 acts again with a character of my own design, but perhaps also, if I take my time a little bit more, can I also figure out some of the other mechanics that I've completely skipped with the guided hero path this time. Just find out about the enchanting, the crafting, those new masters that you encounter, the one that's hunting. You can create lots of stuff that way as well, and yeah, just try to figure the game out a little bit more with a new character. That is basically the plan plan here. I'm gonna take my time. There may not even be a lot of videos about this one either, but yeah, it's a super fun game, I must say. Path of Exile. I am enjoying it, and especially now that I know that I can beat those 10x even completely on my own. I feel a lot better about trying to start a new character. I've got a better plan. I've got a better view of what it is that I need to accomplish with that character, and I'm making progress a lot faster as well, I must say, thanks to Zyhark, who keeps giving me awesome gifts now that he can actually trade me. So I got a couple of unique items with movement speed that he gave me. That's going to help me a lot to make some quick progress on this new character. And that's it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.